This video, I'm going to ask the question, where do we find GIS data? And to do that, we're going to think of it as two parts. We've got digital and non-digital, or digital and analog types of GIS data. If GIS data already exists and is in digital form, then you need to figure out if you got to go buy it from a GIS vendor, or better yet, see if you can find it for free. Fortunately, there's a lot of data available for free, and I have several examples to follow. So let's start off local and then go global. First off, we have the Indiana Spatial Data Portal. One of the things about the state of Indiana is we are exceptional when it comes to spatial data, GIS data, remote sensing, geospatial technologies, and all things related to this course. Taking advantage of the computer power that IU possesses and the networking and infrastructure that we see across the IU campuses, it's quite easy for any student to access this massive amount of geospatial data. So we'll reference the Indiana Spatial Data Portal and get some downloads from there numerous times this semester. In fact, in Exercise 2, the Sanborn map, it originated here at the Indiana Spatial Data Portal. Earlier in the semester, I accessed data from the Indiana map. The Indiana map is housed by the Indiana Geological and Water Survey, but also has a huge amount of non-geology water-related data. And in fact is probably the largest possessor of a variety of GIS-specific layers specific to Indiana. To further show how dynamic and big the Indiana GIS industry is, this just provides a snapshot of the variety of jobs that might be available in all these variety of counties who have a GIS position, but also we see other resources including access to more spatial data that we'll be using throughout the semester. Even further, Indianapolis has a huge amount of data that is available in GIS form. The Open Indy Data Portal is constantly adding new features, adding new data sets, and adding new layers that then can be downloaded by scholars, entrepreneurs, and interested citizens. Keeping in mind with this open theme, there are several open source mapping applications. First off, Open Topography, which specializes in elevation, LiDAR, and other stuff that's very useful across sciences, especially in remote sensing. We'll grab a few data sets from there later in the semester as well. Also, there's the OpenStreetMap. Here, anybody can create a map, but like the saying goes, garbage in, garbage out. So sometimes you kind of get what you find. You'll get maybe a layer or a feature that might be created in haste. It might not be as accurate. But the nice thing about the OpenStreetMap is there are a ton of good data sets and layers that do have relevancy, that do have accuracy, and we'll be using those as well. More recently, the Open Aerial Map has started to take advantage of the increasing use of drones, UAV imagery that we see in GIS and remote sensing applications. Another big user of GIS data, but also creator and provider, is our government. And so you can find the Census Bureau is always adding new layers, new shapefiles, new information, updating information, correcting information, and you'll find a lot of demography, socioeconomic, and other human-related aspects being collected and maintained here. Another good site is the National Map, and that's produced by the United States Geological Survey. Here we'll find a ton of data, once again related to the physical environment, with a lot of water features, land use patterns, elevation, vegetation type, and other environmental related data sets. Once again, we'll be grabbing a few data sets and layers from this particular source. Other governmental agencies include the United States Department of Agriculture, which also contains spatial data sources, and the same is true for the United States Fish and Wildlife Service. And this is just a few of the many spatial data sets that are available for free and ones we'll use throughout the semester. Finally, when it comes to digital spatial data, and we either can't afford or don't want to pay for a vendor or commercial GIS data provider, if we have no other option, I suggest we beg. And that includes, of course, a lot of networking. And this is once again where it's cool that you know a lot about GIS, about computers, but it's also about how to find data. And it's in those networks. And it might be at an academic conference. It might be at a GIS conference. It might be in passing a colleague who might work in a different agency, but nonetheless uses spatial data, who can help you find what you're looking for.